using a VPN, you're able to. He wasn't smart enough, and our detective, looking through many documents, was able to find the proverbial breadcrumb trail, and that led us to his probable identity. He was suggested his name was Adam Lee, and it was actually coming out of Limassol, Cyprus, if I'm saying that correctly. So when we learned this information, because we are a part of the ICAC network, our detective is a federal task force officer for Homeland Security investigations. So we contacted Homeland Security investigations, explained what we had. They jumped on it, got a hold of their agents in Athens, Greece. Those agents in Athens, Greece then reached out to the authorities in the Republic of Cyprus. All the information was given to them. So December 2nd, we were notified that an arrest had been made in Cyprus. So we were told search warrants were executed, electronic or devices were seized. Those devices showed the image of a child being abused, being sexually abused. So the evidence was certainly there. So the investigation that we did here did bring them right virtually to this person's front door. So we are very lucky that we had very quick cooperation and collaboration with our federal partners as well as our international partners, people we haven't even really met yet. And as opposed to normally a case here locally, we look at, are we going to have any pending charges here? That is something that I've been asked. So if you're online and you're asking for pictures of sexually exploited children, or you're looking to exchange images of children depicting those type of behaviors, that in and of itself is a crime. So we are going to work with our state attorney's office here to see whether or not we would pursue the charges and extradite this person back to the United States. It is possible, because he has now been arrested, taken into custody, that the state may say, no, we'll let the Cyprus authorities handle that. The child was identified and has been safeguarded and is now in a safe place. So that was the goal always, was does he have a victim, many victims? And what we have been told is that that child was identified through the images that were seized in his home in those devices, and so the local authorities handled that. So normally I could give maybe some more information on that, but I don't have that. I don't have a timeline of the Cyprus investigation, because I know our investigation came to us in July. It takes a little bit for us to get our information back and then push it off there, so I don't have that.
Was your detective posing as a child communicating with this guy in Cyprus, or as the parent of a child who would make the child available for sexual contact?
Our detective was posing as the parent of a child.
And saying, I have a child who might be willing to engage in sexual
I'm not exactly sure of the exact conversation that went on there, but from Mr. Lee's perspective, he would have believed that our detective, our persona that we were presenting, would have had access to a child or was interested in whatever materials he was willing to offer or exchange.
What was his relationship with the child victim?
I don't know.
And it's a girl, right?
It is a female, yes.
Do you know how many years that went on? Many years in the Facebook post.
Right, I don't know. I would imagine that Cyprus would have, been able to, figure that out, but I don't have that information.
So it wasn't necessarily a parent, it was an adult of some sort that either had access to a child that might involve, or was trying to receive some of those dangerous images.
If we want to take on face value the information that this criminal was giving us, that he had been abusing this child for many years, then yes, it would seem that this person had access to this child. Is this person a daycare worker? There are so many places in society where adults have supervisory and guardianship over children that is not just their parents. And I don't have that.
I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. The person from ICAC was
Yes.
posing not necessarily as a parent, but possibly as an adult who had access either to a child that would involve in some of these activities, or an adult that was looking to receive this from this other individual that was arrested?
Well, I think in this case, our detective was posing as a parent of children or a child.
And just to be 100% clear, because I think there's some questions online as well, is this man has no other connection locally here to Port St. Lucie outside of this interaction with this investigation, correct?
That is correct. That is correct.
Right, so I have three questions here. Two regarding the suspect and one regarding the particulars of the investigation. So first of all, Adam Lee, is that a pseudonym?
This is the name that was confirmed to us from the authorities overseas. I believe that is his real name.
Right, thank you. And what is his nationality?
He was in Cyprus, in the Republic of Cyprus, when he is doing this communication with us. The search warrants and the arrest were made in the Republic of Cyprus. I don't know if he is a citizen of Cyprus or if he was someone visiting Cyprus.
You know what he does for a living?
I don't know that.
Right, and in regards to the particulars of the authorities behind the investigation, who else alongside ICAC was involved in this? Say, British authorities within Cyprus as well, or Interpol?
From what I understand, from what our detective reported, because ICAC, Internet Crimes Against Children, Homeland Security is very big on that, because anything that's coming in and outside of U.S. borders, whether it's a physical thing or electronic thing, that is where they assume their jurisdictional responsibility. And we have, the United States, has law enforcement assets throughout the world, and that is what we were able to exploit, get a hold of the local assets, which happened to be in Athens, Greece, and then from there they'll reach out to the Republic of Cyprus and figure out who the most appropriate people are to continue with that investigation there. So as opposed to Interpol or any British authorities, it's my understanding they were not involved.
Thank you.
What stands out to you about this case? I mean, what's something that really kind of strikes you? Is it the reach that, while Port St. Lucie is here in Florida, this happened across the globe? Is it just the impact that even local officers can have?
I think we all need to be aware, and we live in a global economy where everything is done through the internet, through electronic communications, and a lot of that is unsupervised, and we have been talking about that for decades as our young adults and our children, because they all want that phone. And I have nothing here to suggest that this person was communicating with a child, but I think if you come across something that you are suspicious of, and I think you need to report it. Let law enforcement vet it out and see where it goes, because this is very real. And you could get on these chat rooms, these groups, these different places, and you could get on there and you can make up any name that you have, hide where you are, and it seems sometimes these like-minded people find one another. But the Internet Crimes Against Children is not just a unique investigative initiative here in Port St. Lucie. It is throughout the world, and it may have different names to it, but it is everywhere. And I think this is one of the big things is that here locally, our detective was astute enough to grab onto this, because unfortunately, when our detective goes on, there's many people that are responding, opening up communication. Some of it could be just legitimate, and some of it not so. And so here we are. And then the detective caught that, and just whatever it was they didn't like about that response, about the communication, opened the door, kept communicating going. And excuse me, I did forget to mention that at one point, Mr. Lee did send an image of a child to us, and that was not an illicit image. It was not something exposing any type of abuse, and so that image was shared, of course, overseas, and it was that child, that image, that was identified in Cyprus. So that is how we were able to very clearly connect the dots on that one. Yes, sir.
What was the nature of that image?
It was not a sexual abuse material. It was just a picture of a child.
Identification.
Yes.
So which other American law enforcement agencies are currently making an announcement like this outside of the PSLPD?
Well, I don't know. I know that the ICAC is not unique to our agency. I know many law enforcement agencies in the United States have ICAC. That's kind of maybe the brand of it here, but it exists worldwide and maybe under different names.
Okay, and as to the technological aspect, what browsers do you feel that, did you uncover that Mr. Lee had been using, say, the Tor browser among other devices of that nature?
Well, some of this is some criminal intelligence, and so I don't have all of the data, and quite frankly, I don't think I could completely understand. Our ICAC detectives are very smart. They are getting trained and updated constantly through our federal partners. So I don't want to speak to that. I mean, I was not provided with the exact messenger app, or when you start talking about some of the other things that are used, maybe not so popular web browsers, and those go undetected. So undetected to many of us. However, you know what? I mean, if you're a pervert out there and you're looking, to harm children, you better be careful, because we're going to find you. And even if you're in another time zone or another continent, we're not going to stop.
I have two quick questions. Was this guy sharing child porn with your detective here in South Florida?
No, we did not get any child sexually or abuse materials from this person. We just got that one image, and that was it.
And so what is your reaction to this arrest?
I am glad. I am glad the arrest was made. I am glad that we were very seamlessly able to work with our partners overseas, U.S. assets, our law enforcement assets overseas, and that they had the contacts and they were able to move very, very quickly to identify who this person was. It is very scary. This child sexual abuse material, it's more than just evidence. It is a picture of a crime scene. Every single image is a picture of a child that's in danger. And worldwide efforts are certainly here to help mitigate that and to identify that. And I think a testament to what we have here is that we're not going to stop. And just because this case doesn't seem to be of an interest or touch any of our community members or any of our citizens or guests, we have a duty to identify where it came from and to pass that information on very quickly.
Do you talk to people overseas all the time?
I have not. I was a detective. I think I maybe have talked to Interpol once or twice.
I meant the detectives who do this kind of work with the child predators. Are they talking to folks around the world, or is this the very first time you know that?
Oh, I see what you mean. Right. You mean when they go into the messenger rooms and stuff like that? I don't know. I would imagine that since anyone could get into these messenger rooms or groups, it would seem logical to say that, yes, those people could be coming from anywhere.
How many victims do you think we have in this case?
To be determined. I don't know what position this person holds of guardianship over children. I don't know.
And I'll just ask one more. You said the arrest was made December 2nd?
We were notified on December 2nd that search warrants had been executed. The images inside the seized images matched the picture that we were sent, and an arrest was made. So that's why I don't know what their timeline
Why
was.
was it a month or more here now before your arrest?
Well, so if you recall, on December 1st, we were all meeting for a very different reason. So this case did come to our attention. Our detective captain said, "Hey, this is a really good case on it." But at that point, we just chose to we just put a pause on this case because at that point we had Sergeant Lavasser had just been shot, and so we were still recovering from that, and we wanted let's just focus on healing our community and our agency at that point.
All right, guys. Maybe just one more question.
Did the PSL officer initiate this investigation, and were they investigating something locally at all?
Yes, this is a proactive, ICAC, Internet Crimes Against Children, is a proactive posture. These detectives and investigators will go into the various chat rooms, and they're going to identify themselves however they do that and just see what the responses are.
And this child was from Cyprus, or in the Cyprus area?
I think we could deduce that because the Cyprus authorities reported back that this child was identified and was now safe, and told HSI that.
Got it. Can I ask one clarifying question? So the release had said that the suspect in this case had been communicating with like-minded adults and potentially exchanging child pornography, but then it said something along the lines of, like, unbeknownst to him, he was also talking with a detective.
Right.
But you'd said that he was not exchanging any sort of material with that detective, correct?
Well, when material, meaning the only image that we got was that very benign image of the child. As to the conversation going back and forth, so yes, there was some conversing going back and forth, and I don't know the exact content of that.
Okay, got it. Just wanted to clarify.
But it was alarming enough for the detective to say, wait a minute, I got to take a look at this.
But that was sent from this man.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So he didn't exchange child pornography with anybody?
Not with us.
Got it. Okay.
That's what I was confused about. Okay.
No,
Did
I'm
he possess it?
confused now.
Did he possessed it though?
I'm going to, yes, because the images that were that resulted from the seizures in Cyprus had nude images of that child, of the picture that we were sent.
So he was basically creating his own child porn then with the child and putting it out on the web.
Yes.
And seeking other adults to exchange and talk with about this.
He's fishing and he's throwing the hook in there and seeing who else he could get the bite on there.
So
Got
that
it,
image
okay.
was pulled from the investigation.
The image that we had, he sent us directly of the child, and then that child that we had, that we received the image of, which was it was a benign photo. We shared that with the authorities overseas, and they have confirmed to us that the image of the child that we had matched the image of the nude images that were recovered from his devices in his home, for which he was ultimately arrested.
Got it. Thank you. I
Okay.
appreciate that.
Okay.
So you recovered nude photos of children on his devices.
I'm going to lift up. I don't know who's who.
I don't either.
They're on his devices.